Hi, welcome to Conversion Conversations. This is Cameron, and today I am sharing the first match of our Transformers TCG Siege 2 sealed event to launch the game. We each got 3 packs of Siege 2 and 3 packs of Siege 1 to build with, kind of like I think what the format at PAX Unplugged is going to be here is me flipping a coin, because I've got tokens now thanks to Jason Brown. He's on Etsy. He does on-beam designs. They do all sorts of cool stuff. But I've got tokens now instead of dice, so I don't roll a die anymore. We're going ahead. I believe my opponent chose to go first. I realized that I had drawn before he actually made his decision. But if you saw the previous video, it was only like 7 minutes long, condensed down 2 times fast, same as this one. I'm running Ion Storm and Trailbreaker against what we've got is an Alita 1, a Ratchet, and a Roadhugger. So he's one wider than I am, and he elected for me to go first. I go ahead and flip Trailbreaker. He's got the force field on him. I feel like for the first attack, maybe I should have gone Ion Storm first, because the first attack wouldn't do much damage at all, but I wanted to save Ion Storm's weapon balancing ability for a juicier target. And Trailbreaker I'm not worried about taking hits. He's there mostly to take hits. So now the question is, what's my opponent going to do? And he plays Hazardous Shield, which means that when that character dies, they get to scrap an armor. Originally, I think he didn't understand quite what Revenge did, but we talked it out, and Hazardous Shield goes on Alita 1. Then we're swinging Ratchet into Trailbreaker. Nope. Yeah. Swinging Ratchet into Trailbreaker, not transforming anyone this turn, which is surprising. I think he would have at least, maybe he's a little unfamiliar, he would have flipped Alita 1 to prep her for a heal on the next turn. But I'm not blocking much of anything, so my force field goes ahead and activates, and I take 4, which is kind of exactly what I want to do with Trailbreaker. Now I've got a turn to flip Ion Storm, and his ability won't work. It won't do anything. The other option, since I'm attacking a Ratchet and he doesn't have anything to bounce, I leave Ion Storm to have his 3 defense up, give him a +3 weapon, flip Trailbreaker instead to give him some defense, and there's a nice big 12 Pierce 1 swing, which is exactly what I wanted to see. And again, Ratchet doesn't have any defense himself, so I was hoping to get a possible kill, but I think that was perfectly fine. The only way it would have been better was if I was able to give myself bold or something, which is hard to do in this deck, obviously, when we're talking about sealed. These are not optimal situations. But I am tapped out. I was hoping I'd have a defensive formation in hand to play as a secret action here so that, I can have the +1 for the wheel turn. But we go ahead and reprocess my weapon, which doesn't heal my guy since there's no damage to heal. Here we had an interesting discussion. Ratchet's ability says when you heal, so I'm assuming reprocess would trigger it, but because I don't have any health to be healed, it didn't trigger. But reprocess is kind of a cool ability to get value out of for Ratchet even if you're not healing your own guys. And I just did a quick cut to cut some time as we were discussing how that ruling would work. So the next thing, I think here my opponent was again confused about Alita 1's ability to move damage. He had to flip her and flip her back. So now that he knows, he can flip her. And I guess that explains why he didn't flip on the previous turn. He goes ahead and plays a Medic Pack to give Alita 1 2 more health, putting her at 19, which is pretty beefy for a sealed character. And we start swinging on Ion Storm. 1 damage gets through. And I think I'm thinking what I want to pick up. I hope I pick up the Soldier's Blaster. I think that, yeah, to me that's a much better weapon, especially against this deck. Ion Storm being able to swing for 10 base is really, really nice. Another one gets through. And we both stand up, and now I think I've got a turn to put some real hurt. I think, if I'm thinking through, Trailbreaker is who I want to attack in a Ratchet. I put a secret action face down, put an anticipation on Trailbreaker to hopefully trigger an action, and go to Ratchet because I feel confident that I can get 4 damage in. Go ahead and play another secret action, which is Heroic Resolve, which I don't think Trailbreaker will be dying, but, you know, why not play the card? Get it out of the way of my flips. And yeah, there is plenty of damage to kill Ratchet here, which I think puts my opponent in a very tough spot, because Elita 1's whole thing is to help Ratchet survive. He wasn't able to get the heals off with Ratchet in time to take advantage of that. We go ahead and put a reactive armor on Roadhugger. I think that seems like a fine move, because Roadhugger will die, and then he gets to scrap hopefully a weapon off Trailbreaker to avoid Trailbreaker's Brave. Unfortunately, no weapons to play. I go ahead and reveal my first secret action, which is Defensive Formation, double checking Resolve to make sure that doesn't actually do anything. And we go ahead and take our flips. And I've got 3 defense here. I guess I flipped Trailbreaker to get his attack up, but I probably would have been smarter for me to just leave him in alt mode for another turn. Although, no, actually looking at it, I had to flip him now because I want to flip Ion Storm next turn. So now I can set Trailbreaker up with Brave, put the Soldier's Blaster on Ion Storm, go ahead and use my Wedge Formation, heal Trailbreaker for 1. I don't have a armor or a secret action that lets me play an armor on Trailbreaker. I think that's what I was hoping to draw, to be able to play the Soldier's Blaster and then an armor on Trailbreaker on the next turn, activating his Brave. It didn't work out, but I think this is still a very good turn for me. 10 into Elita 1 base, I think is, I don't think I'll get the kill, but I'll get pretty close here. So 11 versus 4 defense. Your turn. Yep. She's up to 11 now. And I get to bounce her medic pack, so now he has to play it again, take a turn to buff up her health rather than doing something offensive. Which I think, again, we all know that Ion Storm is really good and sealed. I think this is just more demonstration of that. Steady shot on Roadhugger. Deciding whether or not he wants to flip. Goes ahead and tries to get max damage here. Going in a Trailbreaker. Which I do manage to block some of, which I'm pretty happy with. So Trailbreaker survives another turn, which I think is just fine by me. So play a secret action. And here is defensive configuration, hopefully letting me fish out an armor, which didn't work. But I've got a secret action. I was hoping to maybe slap 2 armors on Trailbreaker and really make him much tougher to break through, since my opponent doesn't seem to be flipping a ton of Pierce. If I can get covert armor and then something else. But instead I swing into Elita 1 here, which I am pretty happy with the swing. I'm swinging with 7, it looks like. Pierce 2. Not enough to get the kill, but super close. Basically, Ion Storm will kill Elita 1 by bouncing off that medical kit, which I think is a fine turn. I'd rather get rid of Elita 1's attack than Roadhugger's attack. Okay, so here we trash the armor to heal Elita 1 and play, or reclaim the armor to heal Elita 1 and then play another armor. Defensive move. I think that's the problem with my opponent's build, and I don't know everything he drew, but he's doing protective stuff, but he really had no good way to get things across, damage across the table. Roadhugger attacks. I survive by 1 health on Trailbreaker, which means as long as I can get an armor on him, Ion Storm is free and clear for another attack, which again, I'm not worried about Elita 1's attack. So this is a very good position. Play a secret action. There's my armor. I don't think that'll keep me alive, that just activates my Brave, and might as well play it because Ion Storm can't wear the covert armor. And I'm swinging, now I'm only swinging 8 plus 1 is 9 since we're the same faction, but for Roadhugger that should be more than enough to kill that little boy. I think Shaquille accidentally scrapped reactive armor. There it is. Okay. So not enough. I think I was off by, yeah, by 1. Unfortunate. And here is where, if you watched my build video earlier, I really would have been smarter to keep that special delivery. Special delivery would have let me, on the next turn, get rid of Roadhugger without worrying about him for an actual attack. The Safeguard armor is the one I drop. I keep forgetting what that one's called. But special delivery is something I should have kept. So, Shaquille pulls damage over to Elita 1. Oh no, he's healing with the wedge formation, I missed that. And he's pitching... I'm not sure what happened there. He has to attack Trailbreaker here. Elita 1 goes in and Trailbreaker definitely dies. But that's part of the plan, because now I have an Ion Storm with only 2 damage on him, able to swing into Elita 1. Go ahead and play the Force Field. I play a Fuel Cache. I don't think... yeah, I'm 2 blues right now. Hoping I flip my Fuel Cache, because that would be super nice. I think it happens later on in the match. Nothing. So those get scrapped, but that's fine. I was going fishing anyway. And Ion Storm goes into Elita 1 here. Plenty to kill her. And here I think I offered my opponent if he wanted to call the game, just because Roadhugger dies on the next turn. But yeah, so I'm pretty happy with how I think my build went. I definitely think there's some things I could have taken advantage of in Sealed. If you haven't checked out my actual build video, it's pretty short, but I would love to see how other people would have built from the same pool of cards. Just because I'm trying to learn as much about Sealed as I can ahead of PAX Unplugged. And yeah, that is very much game. And we're going to go right into game 2. So I think now Shaquille wants to go first. Which, I guess it's an opportunity to get some damage on Ion Storm. It's tough. I think this match in Sealed was a little one-sided between Ratchet and Elita 1. Elita 1 has the biggest swings, but I didn't see any great weapons in the deck to put into Elita 1 to help pump her numbers up. And that's right, that's basically my build, is let's put 3 attack onto Ion Storm somehow and have him swing real big. But yeah, it's funny, for a Siege 2 event, the first match I played had no Siege 2 characters, just because of the way we built. Alright. Ratchet first turn, going right into Ion Storm. I think that makes sense. He's got a medic in hand, so he can heal Ratchet whatever damage I manage to do on my first turn, which shouldn't be a lot since I can't play both an action and an upgrade. I'm blocking 4 of it. And now I've got plenty of armors to put on Trailbreaker should it get scrapped. I think what I've learned is force fields don't have a ton of value on Trailbreaker just because in this matchup he's not doing enough damage really to trigger the force field pretty often. Erratic Cannon, hoping to flip a white while I wait for a better weapon to put on Ion Storm. I do put 5 damage on Ratchet. He reprocesses my Erratic Cannon, which I thought was interesting. I kind of thought he'd reprocess the force field just to get rid of my Brave. But I guess he's anticipating me having other armors to play, which I did. Medic pack to put on Ratchet here. And yeah, he wants to protect Alita 1. I think that's smart. With the deck that he has, she's the only way he really gets damage through. And Roadhugger can attack Trailbreaker, and he probably won't even trip the force field. So like it renders my force field kind of non-existent, besides being Brave. And hopefully, I guess the hope is that he does actually trip it to get rid of the force field before Alita 1 swings, but that didn't happen. And we're gonna cut here and come right back. Shaquille is a store owner, so he has customers to attend to and stuff sometimes. I think this is me trying to get my phone cable out of the way and things plugged into my camera. Okay. Now's the time for Ion Storm to hopefully shine. I can bounce the medic pack, which means I only have to deal 9 damage to kill Ratchet. I think that is very doable. I put a medic pack on my own. I guess that must mean I did not have a weapon in hand. Unfortunate. I think with my 7 I decide to see if I can hit it. I deal 8, pierce 1. But I bounce the medic pack at least. Yeah, 6 gets through. Ratchet's not quite dead. Maybe the smarter play would have been to kill Roadhugger right then, since it probably would have taken 2 attacks to kill Ratchet anyway. So that's something I've learned. Hopefully you guys are learning too. Probably not. I feel like out of the people who do Transformers videos, I might be one of the least experienced players. But it's something like this. This is time for me to learn and get better at the game, which I'm enjoying. So Alita 1 has to attack into Trailbreaker unless he gets rid of that force field. Hopefully there's something there, and that's what I noticed in Sealed throughout the tournament, is that there wasn't as much upgrade removal as I was kind of expecting. I've got Sabotage Armaments and I've got Ion Storm, which I think sufficed for my deck. Flips Alita 1 to heal Ratchet, and then heals another bit off of Ratchet with Medic, or off of Alita 1 with Medic. I think that was a good play. But again, the problem is he's playing a stall deck, I think, essentially in Transformers, which is tough since it's a game that requires people to be very proactive, I feel, in terms of pacing. Alright, we stand back up. Now let's see what I can do here. I think this is the turn where I'm debating whether or not I want to play Fuel Cache. I decide not to. I play Soldier's Weapon, which is, I think this definitely puts me in range to kill Ratchet this turn. He had Hiding Spot. Oh no, that must have been his hand. Yep. So I get the kill on Ratchet here. But I think he's in a much better spot than the previous game. Medic Pack on Alita 1. And taps Road Hugger to get +3 on Alita 1. Now this is good. This is a pump that he needs. 9 swinging into Ion Storm. I mean, I'm blocking 3 of it. Hopefully you get some orange pips. Doesn't look like it. I do take the 6 though. Putting me at 8. So now I think somewhere in this game there's a wedge formation letting me draw a card and heal 1 off Trailbreaker. There's some armor on Trailbreaker to get the heat off Ion Storm, which is exactly what I wanted, and swinging in, putting a little more damage on Alita 1, which I think now puts her at a range that I could get lucky with an Ion Storm and get a kill off. Especially bouncing the Medic Pack. So here he's thinking about what he can do. Whatever he does, he has to attack into Trailbreaker unless he can scrap an armor, which he can't. He flips Alita 1, gets the Kinetic Whip, and puts a decent hurt on Trailbreaker. Yeah. Still not enough. I think the Kinetic Whip wasn't bad, but there just needs to be more in that deck to do damage. So I do get the Fuel Cache flip, get to draw some cards, which I'm excited about. That's the first time I've ever used that card. And Trailbreaker goes into Alita 1 here. I think technically that probably was a misplay on my part. I should have attacked Ion Storm into Alita 1. I think I was trying to protect him unnecessarily. Ion Storm into Alita 1 to bounce the medical kit, and with Ion Storm's increased attack, that would have been a kill. So that's a missed opportunity on my part. And there was a hiding spot, but that doesn't do him any good. That was the secret action he played on the last turn. Road Hugger into Trailbreaker here. Oh, I'm close, but not quite there on the kill. Force Field on Ion Storm, Heat of Battle, and here is where I go for the kill on Alita 1. I could have done it on the previous turn. So 11 into Alita 1, at which point my opponent conceded, but it was a great match. I think I learned a lot watching this video and going back through my plays. Thanks for hanging out with me, and catch y'all later. Have a great day.